Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have The Adventures of Bullwhip Griffin. Yeah, this is a bit of a western, you could say. This is filmed in it came out in 1967, and it stars Roddy McDowall, Suzanne Plachette, uh, uh, Carl. Why can't I say his name? Usually I have up. I'll get his name in a second. Usually I have all the details listed here, but I needed to have something else up and ready to go. This is one of those films that, in today's light, would seem a bit controversial in the way it depicts certain people. So what you get here is one of the rare things that they have on Disney Plus. Sometimes they have cultural depictions, maybe outdated, some sort of little disclaimer in the description here. They don't have it this time. Uh, what they do have before it is about maybe 15 seconds long, um, 12, 15 seconds long, a disclaimer that sits there and will sit there, and it's not part of the movie. Literally, the movie starts after this disclaimer goes away. And in case you're not too quick on catching it, uh, here's what it says. This program includes negative depictions and/or mistreatment of people or cultures. These stereotypes were wrong then and are wrong now. Rather than remove this content, we want to acknowledge its harmful impact, learn from it, and spark conversation to create a more inclusive future together. Disney is committed to creating stories with inspirational and aspirational themes that reflect the rich diversity of the human experience around the globe. To learn more about how stories have impacted society, visit www.disney.com/storiesmatter. And then it gives a little countdown. So it's there, but sometimes it goes away a little bit too quickly uh, to really catch all of that. Because I was surprised to see it the first time, and I had to start the movie over so I could see it and then capture it. So, yeah. It definitely does that. It definitely has, let's say, insensitive depictions of certain cultures. Yes, this is set in the Old West. Yes, this is filmed in 1967. Um, and it's to be expected for that time. There's no excuse. But people really didn't care about such things back then. Especially back in the Old West time, the Gold Rush era. The movie starts out in Boston, um, and it follows what basically starts out is an old man has died. A very rich old man has died, and he leaves all of his money to his servants, including Roddy McDowall. His name is Eric Griffin, and he also has two children, an adult daughter played by Suzanne Plachette, and a much younger son who's 12. Who is he? What's his name? Oh, by the way, Carl Malden is the name I was thinking of before. You would know him. But yeah, the kid, I can't remember what the kid's name is. Oh, it's Jack. His name is Brian Russell. So yeah, Jack has this gold rush fever. He's 12. He wants adventure, and he thinks about getting rich, even though he is technically rich, as far as he knows. Well, the reading of the will happens, and he leaves 50,000, 90,000, 100,000, even $500,000 to his butler, Mr. Griffin, played by a very straight-laced Roddy McDowall, very proper, very. He is so tightly wound. It's awesome, and to see him open up throughout the film is even more fun. But he's very tightly wound. He doesn't flinch at anything, and of course, the fact is, the old man who died, well, he's broke. So he gave all this money away that he didn't have. And so upon hearing this, the boy is even more intent on heading out west and taking part in the gold rush. So much so that he runs away from home and makes his way onto a boat that's going to travel around the U.S. Did we even have the Panama? We didn't have the Panama Canal back then. So did they? How did they get across? I don't know. Either way, it was a long trip on a boat. And so Roddy McDowall, Mr. Griffin heads after him, and they both get stuck on that boat and earn their keep. So much so that the captain won't even let them off the boat until they reach their destination in San Francisco, where the gold rush is. It's a gateway for all the gold rush wannabes, all the people who want to become instantly rich. And in this town of San Francisco, haircuts are $10, which is a fortune. Because I figure everybody's coming back with gold. Might as well take whatever piece you can get from these people. So yeah, there's lots of very scruffy, just smelly, rough-edged people that are seeking out their fortune, foregoing everything else, except for women, drink, and whatever else. But yeah, the very straight-laced butler, Griffin, he and Jack arrive, and they decide they meet some people along the way, including Carl Malden, who is a scam artist. Scam artists seem to be prevalent in a lot of Disney films. Anyway, he pretends to be a judge, and he's trying to make his fortune as well on the backs of others, tricking people into giving them their money at every opportunity he can. He even finds a very foppish actor, let's say, who speaks in very eloquent words and phrases, and he has a secret map to where some gold could be hidden. So he aims to take advantage of them. So it's a very twisty plot. It's easy to follow, but it's still, they're moving from one adventure to the next, all tied together in a way, and it's a comedy. It's a number of colorful characters. Suzanne Plachette is also as lovely, and let's just say she's not about to be told that a woman can't do certain things as well, even in this era. So she ends up heading off to San Francisco to find her brother and her butler, and even though she has no home, she has nothing else. She uses what she has left to travel across the country to find them, where they all their storylines come colliding together in a saloon where, well, even more trouble happens, where the Griffin has, from his last visit there, has become somewhat of a legend by having beaten up the biggest guy in town somehow, and gotten the nickname Bullwhip Griffin from the storybooks that Jack had been reading. Bullwhip nickname for another guy, a legend, like a Paul Bunyan type guy who just happened to be out there doing his thing, his cowboy adventure thing. Well, this uptight butler is certainly not a bullwhip adventurer character type guy, but he makes do. So it's lots of comedy, lots of almost cartoonish, like Elmer Fudd, Bugs Bunny kind of stuff going on. Little animations bounce through the frame at times. There's even wire work in a fight in which Roddy McDowall has to fight this really big burly guy. He's learning to dodge and weave and get away, but he also leaps and flips, and so it's a crouching tiger, hidden bullwhip situation here. So yeah, it's a fun little funny movie if you can get beyond the warning that you were given at the beginning, which is, yes, they do some really bad depictions of Mexicans, the banditos, with their giant mustaches and sombreros, and they're very white guys doing the accent kind of thing. I mean, I couldn't tell because it's so cartoonishly exaggerated that you're like, okay, well, yeah, you might as well put a white guy in blackface in this thing. And there's a scene also where Carl Malden is looking to hide, and so he puts on a robe and a big wide brim hat, puts his head down, and he's a Chinaman. He's a Chinese man, and when they ask him, our heroes ask him for help, he just makes Chinese noises. not Chinese language, but what white people might think are Chinese words. It is embarrassing. Yeah, it is. It's just, it's just not good. So yeah, this kind of things don't age really well. So yeah, be warned. You have been warned at the beginning of the film, but I've just given you the exact moments. Mexican banditos and Carl Malden, who even I think bothers doing the eye makeup, which is essentially blackface. I yeah. So beyond that, this is a fun adventure. By the way, this is the kind of that warning at the beginning is the kind of thing that they'd have to put in bright, bold, blinking letters at the beginning if they ever put Song of the South on Disney Plus, which they're never going to do without editing it like 95% of it, I guess. I don't know. It's people are super sensitive about that movie, and from what I know, yeah, there's a good reason to be. So this one, it's if you can get past those two scenes, technically three. There is an actually Chinese man that they do talk to, and they overdub some Chinese, I think, onto a Chinese guy who apparently might not speak Chinese. I don't know. And there is talk that this has been modified from its original thing. It hasn't been fully edited down, I don't think, because that was the point of the disclaimer at the beginning. But I think certain phrases and certain words may have been edited. I am not sure. I haven't seen this movie before, so I don't know what could have changed. But the characters are fun. Roddy McDowall is just freaking awesome. Suzanne Plachette is gorgeous and awesome. And the guy who plays the big hulking ox guy, what's his name? I gotta get his name. You've seen him in a bunch of stuff. Is always the big heavy. There's so many other. You'll recognize a number of small little roles for different people in this. His name is Mike Mazurki, and he's been one of his last films was Dick Tracy, where I think he played a big goon kind of character. But yeah, he's kind of funny. I don't know what he's supposed to be. If he's supposed to be like a big Indian kind of dude, but they play him as a big dumb ox kind of guy. And it seemed like they colored his face a little. So that might be something too. I don't know, but he's funny and he's great. So yeah. The Adventures of Bullwhip Griffin. I had no idea what to expect from this, and once that warning popped up, I was like, okay, we're in for a ride. And yeah, like I said, it's got its share of detrimental scenes, but for the most part, it's a good time. It's fun, and I think people of all ages might be able to enjoy it. And if anybody found that maybe these scenes might be a little bit confusing or upsetting or whatever, sensitive for some people, it's good to talk about them. Gives you a good reason too. And go to the Stories Matter page on Disney.com. So let's pick tomorrow's episode.
647.
647. Ooh, that's up there. Come on. Okay, well, it's a movie. It's definitely one for the kids. I certainly haven't seen this, but it's one of a series of films starring our favorite little pixie fairy, Tinkerbell. This one is Tinkerbell and the Pirate Fairy. Apparently there's a pirate fairy. Crossing genres. All right, Tinkerbell and the Pirate Fairy on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow on the Disney... Yeah, I just said that. On the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'm tired. Okay. See you then.